Good afternoon, everyone. Happy holidays. Thank you for joining us for another wonderful health, education, and wellness session. Today's session is the healing power of herbs, brought to you by AmitaCare and facilitated by our wonderful Denise Guldin. And I'm not going to take up any time, Denise. I'm going to give it to you. Guys, please feel free to stay on mute. But if you have a question for Denise during the session, feel free to come off mute and ask the question, type it in the chat. We love questions here and we want to hear your feedback. We have tons of great information to give you. Denise, it's all yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to introducing everyone to these wonderful herbs today. So like she said, the healing power of herbs we're going to be talking about today. Again, my name is Denise Guldin. I am a licensed massage therapist, but today I am going to be an herbologist. I have herbs for a couple years now, and I really have been working with them for years beyond that. And I feel that you can just find these herbs in local places, in your garden, on walks, on nature walks. And the reason I got into it was to be able to help my body heal naturally. So today we're going to be talking about 10 different herbs. But before we get started, I just want to remind everyone how important it is that before you take any herbs, ingest them or use them, you would like to speak to your doctor first, just to make sure that they're safe for you to consume. And herbs are only useful if they're taken and consumed or applied correctly. So that's what I'm here to talk about today as well. I am not a doctor and I'm not suggesting you take herbs. However, I want to make sure that you get factual information about herbs and how to use them in your everyday life. So we're going to start off and talk about herbs and how they are powerful and how grateful we should actually be to nature for giving us these herbs. I was just talking earlier about how I just cut this out of my backyard. This is a piece of rosemary. It is absolutely beautiful. It smells wonderful. So I am very grateful for what I'm able to have and use in my everyday life that I can actually grow myself. I actually brought in my herbs that I grow at home, and you can easily do this yourself. So I'm going to show you these as well. You don't have to go to the store to buy herbs. You can grow them yourself, even if you live in a smaller space. They have these wonderful hydroponic devices that you can grow herbs in. And I am so grateful for the seeds that I was able to have here to be able to grow these wonderful herbs to use in my cooking, herbs that I can use to drink my teas every day. And there's many different kinds of herbs. I'm going to be talking about fresh herbs and dry herbs. We have a lot of dry herbs here I'm going to talk about. And I brought some things to show you how to use your herbs. We're going to talk about how to infuse them and how to make oils out of them and everything. But today we're going to be talking about ones that help relieve stomach aches, some bug bites or stings. If you have skin irritations, wonderful herbs to help with headaches, joint pain, ones that can even help lower your blood pressure. We seem to get some edema in our body from foods we eat or not having enough water in our system. So we're going to talk about some herbs that are great for any swelling or edema in our body that will help be a diuretic to flush all of that out. And I use those every day myself just to keep my body flowing at a natural rate. There's also herbs that will help with tension and stress, and we'll talk about those and how to use them. But they can be used in teas and garnishes when you have food. Anything that ever is put on your plate at a mealtime should be able to be all consumed. And there's actually a lot of herbs and flowers and plants and even weeds out there that we think are weeds, and we can actually consume them on a daily basis. So we're going to talk about that. I'm also going to mention about how you can take it in a pill form, making your own capsules. But it's important to understand that we need to respect these plants. They deserve the respect. Some of the times I'll use my tea, my infused tea twice. I won't just use it once and drink it and be done. I will add a little bit more of the herb to my tea and use the ones I've already used and add some more hot water. I like to get all of that out of these herbs and plants that I'm using, so I don't dump them right away. I actually do keep a pile for compost as well sometimes, and nurture my garden outside with that. So we want to be respectful for these plants that are giving their energy and their healing powers to us. A little bit of history about plants and herbs. So they've been around a lot longer than even recorded history has. And different tribes and different communities have used them as a medicine or as food. There are people that are out there that actually live off the land. And when they say that, they truly mean living off the land. If it's them planting it themselves or finding the herbs or the plants out there that they can consume. Now, with that being said, please be very careful. If you do not know how to identify an herb or a plant, do not consume it until you have properly identified it, because there are some toxic and poisonous ones, and we don't want to be ingesting those. So it is important to know your plants, and it does take time to recognize them, but always carry, if you're going to be venturing out to do something like that, carry a book with you with identification to see what the plants are. But people have been studying herbs for centuries, and we still are studying them today. It's not something that just stops. We find that, they say one herb is good for this, and then after studies and years of people using it and taking it, they find out, well, it's not just good for, digestion. It might be good to help with something else, with, it could be good to help with tension and stress as well. So herbs can be used for different things. And the more that we're using them and the more data we come up with from using them, the more we can learn about them. So they were and are still symbolic. They were given to people. Some herbs were given for courage or for remembrance. People take ginseng to help remember. As we get older, a lot of people say, take your ginseng capsule. Well, actually drink it instead of taking a capsule. It will do a lot more work for you. But yes, they are good for different things like that. And they're used either sometimes medically. Some of our medications have natural herbs in them. They're used cosmetically. I actually make all my own lotion that I use on my face and my body for the most part. I use my herbs to do that. I use my oils to do that. So you definitely can use them for that. And the number one thing that people think about when you say herbs is using them when you're cooking. You can either use fresh herbs, which are going to be a lot more potent. So if you're going to switch from dry herbs to fresh herbs when you're cooking, please make sure you don't use as much, because you may ruin your dinner that way. When you use dry herbs, they have already dried out some, so you're not using as much of the oil in them. So if you do tend to use fresh herbs, just make sure that you're using a little bit less. But herbs have been around for such a long time, and we're only learning more about them and different species and things like that. So ongoing learning with our education with herbs. Today,
I had a quick question before you just continue. Is the myth true with the ginseng and memory, just regaining memory? Is that a true myth?
Yeah, so yeah, absolutely. Ginseng and ginkgo, they both are really good to help with memory. So, young kids forget to do things. Young adults forget to put their laundry away. Us in the middle age, we forget things too. So it's not just as we get older. We should be using these herbs throughout our life, and then our body starts absorbing them, it helps in our kidneys and our liver. It helps throughout our whole body. So it's not just when we get older that we should use it to help with memory. All through our life, we should be using it. It will just help continuously be in our body and work through it. Yeah, absolutely it is. Yeah. Great question. So the 10 herbs we're going to talk about, but if anyone has questions about other ones, I'll be happy to answer. But the 10 that I'm going to focus on today are going to be basil, dandelion, garlic, peppermint, rosemary, chamomile, ginger, red clove, yellow dockroot, and lavender. Some of these you may have heard about, some of these that you may use all the time already, and some you may have never heard of before. People hear the word herb and they directly go to seasoning that you use in the kitchen, but it does not have to be just that. So I'm going to be talking about all different ways that you can use that. And that's what we're going to talk about now. What's coming up next here, we're going to talk about, I have 15 different ways here that you can use herbs. There are others, but these are 15 of them that you could probably use if you have herbs right now. So the first one is infusion. You're going to want to use that in some type of tea blend. So you would mix your teas, or just one, you don't have to do a mixture. And you would put it into a container like I have, or you can just put it in warm water, hot water, boiling water. I have an infuser here, which you take off the top, you put your teas in the infuser, you screw your lid back on, and once you have poured your water in, you let it steep, and then you can drink it, and it filters it right through here. So you're not going to necessarily drink all of the leaves. A little particles can come out, but you will get all of the water that has been infused in the herbs in there. So this is my bottle I take with me. I can put my herbs in there, my blends, my tea blends, fill it with hot water and take it on the go. And then I can use that blend a couple times that day. It does get weaker as you use it. However, I want to make sure I'm getting everything out of those plants and out of those teas and flowers. Some of them are flowers. You can use it in oils. So if you're going to do that, I made a wonderful blend the other day. But if you're going to use them in oils, you want to get a grapeseed oil. Grapeseed oil is a great oil to use. You want to unrefined oil. You can really use a lot of different oils. And what I made the other day is a garlic oil. So I smashed up all my garlic. I put all my garlic in here. I filled it with oil. I did label the top of it. Something very important you want to do with all your herbs, anything that you make or mix, always label it with what it is and the date. And then every day I mix it, I just shake it up a little bit. And the garlic is infusing this oil that I'll be able to use at a later date. And what I use my garlic oil for is on salads. I use it on, when I cook. So I do use it often. So I'll make a container like that and it'll last me a little bit. But I love garlic this time of year. It really helps with fighting off colds and seasonal allergies and flus and things like that. So an oil is a great one that you can make, and you can make that at home now. If you have an unrefined oil and some garlic or onions, you can make an onion oil as well. Salves are wonderful to make. This is a salve that I made. This is actually, I have this pretty much screwed on tight there. This is a comfrey salve. So comfrey is great for soothing and healing. This is a salve I made with some beeswax. I also used the comfrey leaves, but I infused those leaves before I made the ointment. So I had to infuse them in an oil and then mix the beeswax and the oil together to make the salve. So if there's any kind of, scrape or bump or bruising on my body, I just get a Q-tip, put a little bit of that on, a burn even, and it is healed in no time. No scarring for me at all. My son fell and scraped up his whole face. Unfortunately, I used this in 5 days. It was pretty much healed. So it is a wonderful salve to use. Again, you can make it yourself or you can purchase them. Different kinds of salves for different things. So that's my comfrey salve. Capsules, to talk about those quickly, capsules are made with ground up herbs, which would be a powdered herb like this. And to make an herb like that, you would have to have, if you're going to do it yourself, you can have the whole herb as a root and you can blend it up. You would not want to use this. It would be too coarse. You would blend it up in a herb blender. Do not use your coffee blender because your herbs will taste like coffee and then the person drinking coffee won't be happy with you either. Use a separate herb blender, blend your herbs and it will come out into a powder form and then you can fill capsules and take them that way. I don't feel that they get into the body as quickly as something like a tea does. But some people prefer that because they don't like the taste of some bitter teas. So if it is a bitter plant or herb, that is something that you may want to work with or try. The next one is a tincture. Tinctures are in little bottles. This is the one I have here. And to make a tincture, you would have to take a glass type mason jar and fill it with your herbs, your herb mixture, whatever you are making it for. Peppermint's good for headaches, and we'll go over that, but you can blend your own mixture up. Now, tinctures are usually made with alcohol. So if you don't prefer alcohol, you can always make them with a vinegar and it will turn out the same way. So people that aren't partial to alcohol, that is absolutely fine. You don't have to. But you would fill this with herbs, fill the rest of it all the way up to the top with either your alcohol or your vinegar. And you would label what you put in it. And every day you will shake it up. And when you do that, you're going to let it set for 4 to 6 weeks. And then you're going to strain it. And once you strain it, you're going to want to put it into a darker bottle like this, and it will stay good for quite some time, sometimes even years. So for tinctures, a lot of people take these on the go. If they don't take teas with them, when they're traveling, these are small enough that they can go with you. Tinctures you can actually add to a tea or another drink, or you can just put them right under your tongue, put a drop or two. Some people use just these, other people use these with drinking tea. And that is absolutely fine as well. You know, everyone has different ways they want to use and be able to consume herbs. And that's why I wanted to give you a full range of different ways to do that. The next one is a bath soak. And this one I really enjoy if you're going to be taking a nice relaxing bath. You can put some chamomile in there or some lavender in there, get some nice hot bath water and soak in the tub. As your pores open up from the warm water, the herbs being infused into the water will be going into your skin. Your skin, again, is the largest organ of your body, and it will absorb that. We talked about it being in food. Most of these herbs you can use in all different foods, fresh or dried. Dried ones are great when you don't have fresh ones on hand. But like I said, you can grow some of them yourself if you have, this is a hydroponic. I don't have a huge garden outside, even this time of year where I'm at. It gets a little chilly for my herbs. So I started a couple weeks ago growing them inside because I know they won't last all year long outside. So this is just grown inside on my counter. Then I can have my fresh basil all year round. I have all different ones growing here, including peppermint and thyme and dill. And I can use those all year round fresh. The ones I'm going to use in my food at home dry, I keep in my containers and then I have them labeled and I can use them dry when I cook as well. So you can choose if you want to use fresh or dry herbs. If your herbs do have a shelf life, so you do want to keep them in a warm, a cool, dark area. You don't want them to get too warm. So I don't usually keep them over the oven or over the stove because then they would get too warm from being in that area. So you want to keep them in a cool, dry, dark area. In a cabinet is dark enough. So you can tell if your herb is fresh or not if you take an ounce and you rub it together with your fingers, and you can smell it. If you can smell the herb and it's pretty strong, your herbs are still good. Herbs will last quite some time if you take care of them. The next one I have on the list is the Dream Pillow. This is one I make for gifts for friends and family members or for my children. You can, if you're crafty, you can easily make these yourselves by taking 2 pieces of some type of cloth, cotton, or even a silkier cloth, and filling that with different herbs. I use herbs that are good for relaxing and sleeping. Again, lavender, chamomile. I like to experiment with different ones. I try not to use strong ones that I would maybe cook with that are bitter, like basil, but I do try to do relaxing ones. And you fill this pillow, and it doesn't have to be big. It can be about this size. And you fill this pillow up and you sew it, and then you put it underneath your pillow or next to your pillow in bed. And it's supposed to bring you good dreams and happiness. But what it does for my family members and friends, it actually helps them sleep better because the herbs I put in the pillow are for relaxing. So if someone that you know doesn't sleep well and can't fall asleep, has insomnia, a nice pillow with some lavender or chamomile in it goes a long way. So you can make those yourself or purchase those. Bath salts are wonderful. You can make, again, they're all over the market where you can buy them, or you can make them yourself. Bath salts are great just to sprinkle in your bathtub. If you don't have a tub, sprinkle at the bottom of your shower. Let some hot water run on those, and the steam will bring those herbs into the air. So you can mix them with herbs and salts yourself as well. So compression ones, we would use cold compresses. So anything that would be cold and we can put with herbs. So if you have some kind of like gel, an aloe gel that you want to infuse with herbs, and you can put that as a compress on you. I use a lot of my natural cheesecloth to make compresses or poultices. So I would wrap the compress, making it cold with like an aloe gel. An aloe plant is an herb. So I would add other herbs to that aloe gel, put it in the freezer, and then use this as a cold compress on me for something. Any kind of swelling, anything that, you know, if I have any areas that got burnt or anything, aloe and lavender mix as a compress is really great. You don't have to have it mixed up, but if you do, it's really nice. You can do containers in your freezer of little aloe patches with some lavender in it, and then just take them out and stick them in a piece of cheesecloth if you get a burnt, and put that compress right on you. The next one we have is we have the Tincture. Let's see, I don't think I have that. So we have that. Basically, that is, I thought I had my syrup. It's like a syrup. You just want to boil it. So you want to take your herb, put it in a pot to make that. You don't want to make it as thick as a syrup, the deconction, and you just want to pour it into a cup. Then you want to strain it either with something like this off of your tea, or a double strainer that is like this. So just basically putting a pot on the stove, boiling your herbs, letting them set for a minute or two, and then pouring it into a container from your pot. I apologize, I didn't bring my pot over here. Syrups are wonderful to have, and I keep those on hand in my fridge. I have an elderberry syrup right now, and I use that because this time of year you have sniffles and coughs and colds, and elderberry is a good one for that. Syrups are going to be a lot thicker though. So you're not going to have it as thin. You want to make it thick. It boils for a few hours on the stove. You want to keep the lid on and keep those herbs boiling. Have enough water in there that you don't burn them. And then strain them out and let them sit. Once you do that and they cool off to room temperature, stick them in the refrigerator and they'll last you quite some time. I do elderberry syrup every night before I go to bed, just a teaspoon. It helps keep me from getting these colds and things this time of year. The powder I talked briefly about already. You can make your own powder from your herbs. So if you have an herb, a root or a leaf, and you want to grind it up, I already have some ginger powder made. You'll want to use this type of machine and not just your pestle and mortar there. That's going to make it too thick and grindy. Essence. You're going to get the essence if you choose to collect essence from a flower or a plant or an herb. You're going to have to collect that outside around 8, 9 in the morning when the dew comes off the flowers. You want to collect your flowers then. That's the best time. Bring them in, let them soak. You're going to be soaking them in a pure water. And then once they have soaked for several hours, then you'll strain that water off and that water can be used. And I also talked a little bit when I said about the compresses, about the poultices. That's going to be warm. So you'll take some cheesecloth and you'll put your warm herbs in your cheesecloth, whatever you're going to use for your ailments. People use this sometimes if they have bruising or they have even kidney infection. They'll put warm herbs in the cloth, in the cheesecloth, and they'll place it on the back where their kidneys are and cover it to stay warm. Once this gets cold, it doesn't work anymore, and you do not want to use this twice. Once it's used, you need to discard of it and get a new piece and new herbs to put in it. And then you can put it back on the area that's bothering you. That can be used, and that works very well for people. So you can use the compresses that are hot, cold, or that is hot. So I gave you a lot of information about how herbs are used. So let me introduce you to 10 herbs that we're going to talk about today. And if you have any questions about these herbs, I'll be more than happy to answer those. Let's start with basil. Basil I have here in dry. I'm going to show you what it looks like. The dry basil, this is pretty fine. I use this for cooking myself a lot of the times. This is good for digestion. It helps with your nervous system. It helps with your liver. This is a nice one. It smells really nice. When you say it's good for digestion, people ask me how. So if you're having any kind of digestive problems from, foods that you eat, or if you're drinking a lot of acidic things, this will help in the digestive area for you. So you can easily add this to your food if you're going to add it dry, or if you're going to add it fresh. I love fresh basil. They use basil a lot when they're making tomato sauces. And a lot of people thought, well, it just enhances the flavor of the tomatoes. Actually, what it does is it helps break down as you're digesting it, so you don't get that indigestion as severely. Some people get massive indigestion from, acidic vegetables like that. But the basil in tomato sauce, if you get tomato sauce with basil, if you don't add some to your tomato sauce, it will very much help with any kind of indigestion, because that will help with the digestion of the tomato. So it helps relax your body. It can help with stress and anxiety as well. But the interesting fact about basil is there's 60 different types of them. The one that is known the most is the sweet basil. It smells sweet. It's the one that I use a lot when I make either mozzarella and tomato and basil to eat. That's a really good one to have, the sweet basil. So that's one of the most common ones, but I do have actually 2 here, and you can see the difference in what they look like, the 2 different leaves of the basil. So one does grow a lot quicker than the other as well, but they do look differently. So with there being over 60 types, test different ones out, see which ones you like. You might love all of them, you might not like any of them, but basil is a really good one for your digestive system. But the interesting thing is they have been starting to put basil into different kind of cosmetics. So you'll find sometimes basil in shampoo and in soaps, different kinds of body care products as well. And the reason they do that is for anxiety and stress. So if you do find that any of your products that you have, any of your cosmetic, or not really cosmetic, but body products that you have, shampoo, lotions. I have a lotion that has a hint, I put it in, a hint of basil in it, just to give it that little sweetness to it. So, but it's a different type of sweetness than like a peppermint. So this is a very good one if you're having any kind of digestive or nerve issues. Don't forget to write questions if you have them about it. The next one is dandelion. Everyone thinks this is such an annoying weed, but I actually love dandelion. Dandelion is one of my favorite. I have 2 things of dandelion here. I have the dandelion leaf and I have the dandelion root. And I apologize for the glare there. So the dandelion leaf and the dandelion root. I love both of them. The difference obviously is the root comes from the root of the dandelion. The leaf is from the actual leaf, not the flower, not the head of it. To explain really quickly, I use, I can't find dandelion where I live right now, but I used to go out when the dandelions were fresh. I used to go out and I used to cut the heads of the dandelions. I'd let them lay out for a day on a towel, let some of that moisture come out of it. And then I would take a jar, a lot larger than this, but I would take a jar and I would fill it with my dandelions. And then I would pour my oil over it. And I usually use my unrefined grapeseed oil. And I'd label it and I'd let it set for 4 to 6 weeks. And I would shake it every day. And then I would strain it. I came out with a bunch of small bottles of dandelion oil. And it is such an amazing oil. I use it for my face. I use it for my skin. It is so soft. I actually gave a bunch of them away for presents last year because I had so many compliments from people on the oil that I was using. So I love dandelion oil, but this is the root. The root is a lot harder, obviously, it's pieces. So in order to use the root, you would have to boil the root. You can drink it just in a container like this, but it's going to be a lot harder to do that because you're not getting everything out of it. The root takes a lot more to extract out of it. It's harder. So if you're going to be drinking it in a tea, you're going to want to use the leaf. But if you have a chance to be able to use it and boil it, or dandelion is great in salads. Or cooked on the stove with, whatever you're going to make that night for dinner. So dandelion's great for your liver and your spleen, your stomach, your kidneys, and your bladder. So this can be used in teas every day. It can be used in cooking on the stove. You can mix some of the root up when you're making, your sauce for your pasta. You can mix some of that root up in there. See what you think about it. Some people will cut the leaves off dandelions, and use them in a salad. I will say, if you plan on using any plants outside, Do not get them that they are close to the road because of all the traffic from cars and everything. You don't want that, kicked up, the dirt, the pollution from that. And make sure you know where you're getting it from, because if you're getting it from somewhere that was sprayed, the plant will hold that spray, and then you're putting those pesticides or those toxins into your body when you drink them and use them. So please make sure you know where you're getting your dandelions from, that it's fresh, it's organic. If you do buy your herbs, a lot of these I buy, I label them when I get them, and this one is organic. I make sure of that they are organic. They're not sprayed. But this is a great one if you're having liver issues, any kind of urinary tract infections, anything with your skin. Some people use this if they have like eczema or psoriasis. Drinking some of this will definitely help. Stomach pains, it will help with that as too. Dandelion is, you just have to be careful. Dandelion is a laxative. So it will keep things moving, but it shouldn't dehydrate you as long as you're getting your amount of water every day. So a lot of people think, I can drink tea all day or I can drink coffee all day because it has water. Make sure you're drinking water as well, especially if you're taking any herbs that are diuretics or laxative, because you don't want to deplete yourself. This is a bitter plant. So I say that with letting people know that, it has that pungency to it. It's bitter. Some people don't like that. But if you mix it with other greens, if you're making a salad and mix it with other greens, it does taste very nice. So you can definitely add it to that, make teas out of it. Infuse it in oils. Like I said, I would use the top of the head for that. So you can use all parts of this plant, the leaf, the flower, and the root, which is really nice. It's nice when you have a plant that you can use the whole thing. I hate to waste anything. That's why I do some composting, because I don't like to waste things, but it's really nice when you can use the whole plant for it. The next one you're probably familiar with is garlic. I have some clove of garlic here today. I used a lot of my garlic, using it for my oil. So I have a nice clove of garlic there. I also have some ground up garlic that my garlic powder that I use. I grounded that up in my machine here, and I use this for my cooking. I do enjoy garlic. Garlic is, you use the bulb of the garlic, the clove of it. Garlic is great for your heart and respiratory area. It's also good for digestive system. A lot of people will use that this time of year, definitely for colds and coughs, but it is a good heart health herb. So if you're fighting any kind of infections or anything like that as well, garlic is a good one for that. People use it when they start to feel colds come on, because it can help with your lungs. But there are other herbs that help coat your throat a little bit better than a garlic would, but garlic is very good if you do feel something coming on. That way you can definitely get ahead of it. You can include this in your cooking every day. You can do what I did and infuse some oil with it, the wonderful yellow oil I have going on here. But you can also put it in capsules. So if you're not one that likes the taste of garlic, another way to put garlic into your system is doing the capsules. So when you buy capsules over the counter, I'm not saying that they're bad for you, but they do sometimes have other things in them. So be careful, make sure you read everything. If you make your own capsules, and you can gladly do that, you can buy capsules at a holistic or all natural food store, and you can grind your own herb up and put it in the capsule. So you have control of, what you're putting in there and how much. But you can take it that way if you don't like the actual taste of garlic, and some people don't. But garlic is one of the ones that I use daily when I'm cooking, and I do enjoy that very much. I enjoy the flavor of it. Peppermint is one of my favorites. I love a nice peppermint tea. And I use this one quite often. This one, you just want to use the leaves for. You're not going to use any kind of root for it or anything like that. But this is a good one for your digestive system, your respiratory system. Now, peppermint tea is also good just for calming your muscles. And it smells amazing. I open the jar and I can smell it instantly. This one I have here is peppermint. Some people will ask, do you use spearmint as well? I do, but I do love peppermint the most. This calms your muscles of your digestive tract. So if you're having any issues, people say sometimes, oh, chew some peppermint gum, or for nausea, take a peppermint lozenge or something like that. Peppermint tea is really good. It gets into your system pretty quickly, but it's good for your digestive tract, and to help with any indigestion, colds and coughs. This is a great one for headaches. So if you are prone to getting headaches, one of the best things you can do is make a peppermint infused oil. So do exactly what I did with the garlic, but use peppermint instead. Put your peppermint herbs on the bottom, fill it with the oil that you're going to use, label it, and let it set for, I would say, about 4 to 6 weeks. Once that oil has been infused with the peppermint, strain it and put it in containers and label them. And then what you can do is you can take that peppermint oil and rub it on the back of your neck, and it will help with letting those headaches, that tension, relieve. They make little roller bottles. You can put it in roller bottles, take it with you, roll on the back. My only thing is please do not put the peppermint on your face, especially around your eyes. It could do a lot of burning for your eyes. Some people think it makes it even worse. So please make sure you don't put it on your face. It can irritate the skin because your face, at your face a little bit more. So if you are getting headaches, the back of your neck is a great place to put it. If you're going to put it on before bed, don't put it on the back of your neck. Actually, rub it on your feet. You don't want anything too close to your pillow, or too close to your pillow that you roll and put your eyes on it. So if you have it on the back of your neck and you roll and put your eyes on it, it's going to get on your eyes. You want to put it on your feet. Your feet will absorb that peppermint oil and help you to relax and help with the headache for that evening. But it does help with muscle aches. So if you're having any cramping in your legs and your arms, anything like that, it can also be used for that as well. And please don't use this for any children under the age of 5. It is too strong for them. So if you're going to use it, make sure the child is over 5. This is a great herb to make ointments out of, to make the oils out of, to make rubs out of. You can put some in the bathtub. Some people put peppermint in their tubs, which is great. But just please be careful, because it can, if you have any open wounds or cuts, it can be overly powering and strong. But you can make them into lozenges. And again, just infusing teas with it. If you do have a bug bite, this is a great one. Get some cheesecloth. I love having cheesecloth on hand because you can use it for so many things. Get some cheesecloth, get your herbs, warm them up, drain them. You can drink the tea, but use the actual herb to wrap in the cheesecloth and put on that bug bite. That will help with the bug bite, with the itching. So you can use, you'll be using it twice. You'll be using it for the tea infusion for yourself, and you can also use that to help heal that bug bite for you. The next one we have is rosemary. I don't have it dry, I have it fresh, like I said, out of my garden. I absolutely love rosemary. You're going to use the leaves of it and the twigs. So actually the stem of it can be used as well. Here are the twigs. This is a good one for the respiratory system and the circulatory system. So people use this topically. They'll make ointments out of it. They'll make oils out of it. The most well-known thing to do with rosemary is actually just cooking it. Like I said earlier, you can use it fresh, you can use it dry. Totally up to you. I like it both ways. I have so much of it in my yard that I do use it fresh, but then I don't use a lot of it. This is great for people that have bronchitis, circulatory issues, joint pain. I make a lot of ointments out of the rosemary, and I can just by rubbing it, I can smell it. It's amazing. But I use a lot of it for ointments and things like that. It is an antioxidant, and you can use it as an antibacterial as well. Some people will make, like I said, I offered 15 different ways to use herbs at the beginning, but there are so many more. You can use herbs for cleaning. If you know how to make a cleaning solution and add your herbs to it, like a natural cleaning solution and add your herbs to it, this is a great one for that because it's antibacterial. So just there's so many ways to use these amazing herbs. This is a really good one for any kind of joint pain. So if you're eating it on a regular basis, it will help with joint pain. Some people do it in teas, infuse it in teas. I don't see as many people doing it that way just because of the taste of it. So you can choose however you want to use it. If it doesn't work that way for you, you can always do it in the capsule as well. But you can make this into the topical products for muscles and joint pain, the salves or the lotions or the creams or oils. But again, everyone can use the different herbs in the different ways that they like. That's the nice thing about them. There's no wrong way to use it. You experiment and you find out what works best for you. The next one is chamomile. I apologize. I literally just used all my chamomile the other day. For myself, I was drinking a lot of chamomile tea just to relax at night, and I used it all. But chamomile, this is what it looks like, fresh growing, and then dry. You're going to use the flower heads, so they're just dried up flower heads. This is a good one for the digestive system. And a lot of people use this. It's a nervine, so it helps relax you. It helps calm you. But it also helps with soothing your digestion. So a lot of people hear the word chamomile and they go right to, oh, it's an herb that's going to make me sleep. It's an herb that's going to make me calm, but it also can help soothe your digestion. People that have skin issues, if you have eczema, if you have psoriasis, if you have a child with diaper rash, chamomile is an amazing soothing herb to use. So make some of these oils or lotions. If you're using it on a child, make it into a cream or a salve or something, and then you can rub it on them. It's good for minor wounds to help with those as well. It is a wonderful calming herb. So I know I got carried away with drinking my chamomile this week, so I couldn't share it with you. I apologize, but you can put it in the bathtub just to relax in the bathtub. So there's so many ways you can use this one. I drink it most of the time, but people do make tinctures out of it. So again, if you're traveling or you're not going to have a place where you can take a bottle of tea, if you take a tincture, make a tincture out of it. And you can take that with you. That's a nice thing about, you have different avenues to use when it comes to herbs. You have tinctures, you have salves, you have teas, different ways to use it. Ginger is another one of my favorite. Ginger is spicy. If you've ever tasted ginger, ginger is actually spicy. And let's see, I have my ginger root here with me today. This is my ginger root. It has that, it's like a yellowish, brownish color in there. Very pretty. But this is my ginger root. I have it in ginger powder as well. So I will use my ginger powder sometimes. I use my ginger root sometimes. It just depends what I'm using it for. Ginger is used for a lot of things. You use it when you're cooking, when you're baking. You can use it for, it's great for your digestive system, but it is spicy. Like I said, it has a little bit of zing to it. So, but it does help with people with upset stomachs. If you can drink it, if you can tolerate that little zest to it, go for it. Some people can't drink it. They rather have it mixed in something. You can mix ginger powder in yogurts. People use it for cooking and cookies and things like that, but you can use it in yogurts. You can make your own cough drops out of it. That's a really good one. But hey, people use it for dressings on a salad, a ginger dressing. If you can whip up a ginger dressing with powdered ginger, that's great to put on your salad. But a lot of pregnant women actually use ginger for nausea. So it's a good use for upset stomachs or nausea, and it's safe for that from all the research that has been done. So you can make different kinds of ginger lozenges. I know a lot of people a lot of herbalists I talk to and work with side by side, they will make, if they're going on a cruise or they're going on a boat ride or airplane, or if they get car sick or know someone gets car sick, they'll make ginger lollipops or ginger candies, and they'll take them with them so that they have ginger with them, and it helps with any kind of stomach issues and nausea, motion sickness, things like that. It's a warming herb, zesty herb, but it is great in foods as well. And so really going for foods. Red clover. When I started working with herbs a few years back, I didn't know what red clover really was. This is a wonderful herb. It's beautiful. It's actually a beautiful herb. You're going to use the flowering tops and leaves. But this is a great one for your blood, your liver, your heart, and your lungs. And I give this to my children a lot when they're not feeling well. I will give them red clover in a tea. So this is a good one. I put in a lot of teas. People that have skin conditions, again, I come back to eczema because I have someone in my family dealing with eczema. So I've been giving them this as part of their herb blend that they drink. And it's actually really doing the job for it. But it doesn't have to necessarily be done by drinking it. You can make a bath. You can make it into a wash that if you do have any kind of skin irritation, once you get a shower or whatever, rinse the soap and rinse have the water on you, and then take a wash of red clover. And all you have to do is take red clover, steep it, make sure you strain it and you have the water from the red clover, and wash your body with that and let it sit for a few minutes, and then rinse it off with some fresh water. This will help the irritated area. So I really like this. You can use it in a appliance where it's warm and put it in your cheesecloth if you like. So you can use it in many different ways, but it is great for any kind of skin conditions if someone's going through something, rashes, anything like that. A lot of times it is used with other herbs, with a burdock root or a yellow dock root. I'll get to yellow dock soon, but it is mixed with them. I actually like the taste of red clover, so it doesn't bother me. Some people don't love it, but it is a purifying herb. So just to let you know, it does turn the water like a pinkish color too. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. But if you have any kind of a thinning blood or any kind of disorder where your blood does not clot, be cautious on using this one. I do have that in the notes there because that's very important. You wouldn't want to use that, and you, again, want to discuss that with your doctor just to be on the safe side. Our yellow dock root, this is a pretty strong herb for the digestive system and the liver. But this one is a really nice one. This is, it actually turns the water quite yellowish color. It is a very, very nice herb. It is, like the picture shows, it comes from the root. And it's rich in iron. So if you don't get a lot of iron in your diet from some of the food you eat, you can use this while you're cooking. You can take that yellow dock root and chop it up and add it to different foods that you're making. This is a great one to get some of that iron from. But it's also, again, good for the digestive system. I have a lot of herbs on here for the digestive system because I find that now with so many processed foods out there, so many foods out there that have different things in them, if we're not cooking them ourselves, we wind up having issues with our digestive system. So these are all wonderful herbs to be able to help keep our digestive system moving as well. Our liver detoxifies everything in our body. So one thing that I always like to talk about is how these herbs can help your liver. So you want to help purify your liver so it can help work the other organs in your body. So this is a good one for that. You can make this into a syrup. You can boil it on the stove, make it into a syrup, drink it as a tea. You can use it infusions with oils. You can extract it from that oil, from the root into the oil and use it that way. But it's a great herb for fatigue. So if you're one that finds yourself that you're getting that 3 o'clock slump all the time and you're tired all the time, this is a great herb to start with to help so that you're not tired as much. But it is a bitter herb, so you may want to mix it with some of that red clover or some ginger or something like that, so you don't have that bitterness as well. It's a good one to mix with other herbs. And last but not least is lavender. Lavender is it's amazing. It's a beautiful, beautiful herb. It smells wonderful. And you use the buds and the greens from this. It has a wonderful purplish color, purple being my favorite color. So, you know, I can't say anything else but that, but it's a beautiful herb. It's good for your nervous system. So this is a great one for anxiety. Again, people that aren't sleeping, insomnia, relaxation, anything like that. You can use this in so many ways. Surprisingly, most people don't know, and again, a few years ago I didn't realize this, that this herb is a flowering plant. This flowering plant is part of the mint family. So a lot of people don't know that because it doesn't taste like mint. It has a different taste to it. People have asked me, you actually drink lavender? I do. I use it in my teas, but I use it more for soaks, foot soaks. I'll use it for my dream pillow. I will make candles. I use beeswax and make candles, and I add lavender to that, or I make soaps and add lavender. I do a lot of natural and holistic things. So I use a lot of my herbs to do that, and lavender is a great one for that. Essential oil is different than a tea. So be careful with that. You don't want to use essential oil in your drinks. It's too potent, but you definitely can use this herb dried in your drinks and your teas. And it will definitely help give that relaxing and calming feeling. So yes, this is definitely a good one for that. Do we have any questions? I gave you a lot of information on what herbs you can use, how to use them, what they're good for. Does anyone have any questions that I can answer?
Denise, earlier in the chat, someone asked about what herbs may be good for fatty liver. I'm not too sure if you know offhand.
So I had mentioned some herbs that are good for your liver. So what you would want to do is start with those herbs. Try like a yellow dock root. You can use that. Anything that's going to work to help cleanse your liver. I do have some tinctures and some recipes. You want to try to heal your liver and get that liver detoxified before doing anything else. So I would try something like even the red clover, yellow dock root. Try one of those, use that for a little while. Again, make sure it's safe for you by consulting your physician. But I would try cleansing your liver, doing a detox and cleanse your liver first, and go from there. Because you want to heal your liver and then you want to build it back up. Your liver will regenerate it. It will heal. It will heal if you take care of it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Any other questions, comments?
I had a question. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Jay.
So my question is, I know that you said the basil, and did you say lavender is good for anxiety?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. So you can use basil for cooking. Most people don't want to put basil in a tea. They don't like the taste of it that way. So use it in the food that you cook with. So you can use that way. And lavender. Lavender is great for anxiety. So you can use that in a foot soak because those herbs are going to go into your body that way. You can drink lavender in a tea form. You can put it in a dream pillow. You can put it on the bottom of your shower. You can wrap it in cheesecloth and stick it on the bottom of your shower and let that heat and everything get to it. Chamomile is great for anxiety as well. So yeah, there are three there that you could use for that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I had a quick question regarding the dandelion for eczema too. I mean, can you use the heads and put that in like oil and use it as a salve on the eczema as well?
Absolutely. The dandelion oil is amazing. Make sure to let it sit for 4 to 6 weeks before you drain it. And if you're picking your own dandelions, cut them and let them sit down on a towel for at least 24 hours to get some of that moisture out, because you don't want to have all that moisture in before you pour your oil in the jar. Once you have that moisture out of the dandelions, put them in a nice big jar, pour your oil in it, let it infuse for 4 to 6 weeks, drain it and use that oil on your skin. It's wonderful. But you also want to use it internally because you want to heal from the inside out. So drinking dandelion leaves and roots, definitely a good idea, or adding that to your food.
With that yellow dock, can you also eat the greens in that like you would like a detoxer with the dandelion, or is it too bitter?
Yeah, that one would be too bitter. I would just use the root of it, and you really don't want to use the leaves at all. You would just want to really use the root of it. And there's so much nourishment in that root. And you can cook with that. A lot of people will add that or make your salad with it and get it soft and add it to your salad dressings or your salad. Almost like having nuts in there if you get it soft enough. You don't want it hard. You want to get it soft, warm it on the stove. Add some oil to it. But most people don't realize some of these that you can really use in everyday, your salads and your dressings and things like that. You can incorporate them in so many ways in your life that we don't realize. We see this beautiful plant or this beautiful flower or a weed like a dandelion and we're like, ugh, they are so wonderful for our bodies. So yeah, absolutely.
If you're going to make any kind of salt baths, can you use any kind of salt, right? Or is it, you recommend?
I recommend a sea salt. One of it's like the red coarse salt you would use. I wouldn't use the white. It goes through so many processes, the iodized salt. I would not use that. I would use that with a coarser. I would use the sea salt. Salt will dissolve in the water. You don't want to, I wouldn't use that as like a scrub because it's too harsh on your skin. I would use the sugar for that if you're making scrubs. But a salt is great for the bath because it will take longer to dissolve. So you can enjoy that bath a little bit longer. But I would get a container, fill it with some of the salt, add some oil, just a little pinch of oil, add some herbs to it, mix it up real good, shake it, just take a scoop and put it in your bathtub. Your bathtub could get a little slippery on the bottom from the oil, but the oil is going to help bring that salt to life. It's going to help bring those herbs to life, and that's what you're looking to do.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Denise. We can't thank you again for another wonderful session. Your information is up on the screen and people feel free to reach out. Denise loves questions and Q&A. She wants to help you with all your inquiries regarding the wonderful healing powers of herbs that we use. So yes, thank you, Denise. We appreciate you. And we look forward to having you back for another wellness session. We have been loving the information you have been dropping on us for the past few months now. And we just look forward to seeing you again. We want to wish everyone a happy holidays. If you have any comments, questions, concerns, feel free to just email us, go on our website and visit us at www.amitacareny.org. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you.